Hi, I'm Dr. Anissa Holmes, founder of Delivering Well Education, and in today's video I'm going to share with you how to prevent your team from constantly giving you sticky notes. I don't know how many of you have had this happen. I certainly used to have this happen inside of my practice where my team would come to me and they'd say, "Doc, I have a question," or they would text me all day, or they would give me a sticky note, and at the end of the day I would feel very overwhelmed. Any of you ever feel like that? A few months ago, we actually had a doctor team lead mastermind, and we actually covered this topic. We had office managers in the room, we had doctors in the room, and I asked that question. How many of you, honestly, are sticky noting your doctors? And the hands went up, right, as you can imagine. And so what we shared, I'm going to share with you today, was very powerful of creating a process so that that never happens again. So the first question really is, why is your team they are sticky noting you? Why are you getting the constant sticky notes? And the real reason is that your team needs your opinion. They need your feedback. They want to make sure that they're doing things the way that you would like to have them done. And so how do we solve that problem? That problem really gets solved by, number one, having a set process for them to put down their questions, to dump out their ideas so that you can answer them. You also will need to have a process, a time, a once a week time where you can get together, you can listen to your team's questions, their ideas, and you can actually brainstorm, give them your advice, and now the problems can be solved. The other thing that's really interesting, again, is that team members don't really understand how it feels to be overwhelmed by sticky notes. And so one of the processes that we did is, let's just do a little role play. The third thing that we want to put in place is actually having a process so that once a team member asks a question, you actually answer it, provide a solution, they document the answer, and so now going forward, when they have that question, they can refer back to the answers that you have already given. So what does that process look like? Having your team members to actually write down their questions, the things that they need your feedback on. Well, one of the systems that we have developed that has worked extremely well with practices is using a tool called Asana, where now your team can go ahead and put in all of the questions that they have. I want to talk to you about the fact that we need to have another suction. What do you think we should do when patients are coming into the practice? Should we have them do this on the tour or that on the tour? These sort of questions should be written down. If you're not using Asana, you can use a simple piece of paper. Now what happens is that once a week you have a meeting, a leadership meeting where you're coming together to see if you're on or off for your quarterly goals, you're looking at your weekly metrics, but also what you're doing is you're having that time to prioritize your team's questions that they have. Again, maybe there's a marketing campaign where you're going to be going out and doing a small makeover competition. Maybe you're going to be treating 100 kids for free. They need to have your input. And so if you have that dedicated time where now you can go together with your team and ask them, guys, of all of us, all of our suggestions, all of the things that we want to speak about, what's the priority for today? Top 1, 2, 3, and now we have time to discuss and solve and get all of their questions answered for the most pending items that they need feedback on. Again, if there's a suction that needs to be ordered, if there is an x-ray sensor that needs to be ordered, or there's an issue, they need to be able to get your feedback. So putting in that time where you can come together is extremely powerful. And again, those questions that you keep getting asked over and over again, what I always recommend is, as you guys have heard me talk about, you've got people for that. You've got teams for that. Go ahead and once they ask the question and you give them the answer, have them to document the answer. Even better is categorizing it in different categories of the types of questions. Again, putting it in a Google Drive. Even better, putting it in Asana with different categories at the top is extremely, extremely powerful. Okay, so that is the process. And if you want to take it the next step, I encourage you to actually do a team building exercise where you have your office managers and have them to know what it feels like. Have them sit there and say, let's talk about sticky notes. And you go in and you say, let's do a role play. You sit there and you say, tap on the shoulder as they're answering a patient's call. I have a question for you, sticky note. What's the next thing that you're doing? You're checking out a patient. You're going over a financial policy. You go around, I have a sticky note. So now they can understand. And so again, the real question is, why are your team members sticky noting you? And once you create this process, you'll never have that happen ever again. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Delivering Well TV. I hope this was super helpful for you. Now, if you have questions about your practice, have questions about this process, go ahead and put them in the comments below. I actually read every single comment and question. And if you want help creating these systems and processes, I invite you to join me in our next business boot camp where we can help you to do just that. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next video.